In this part of the program, we're going to focus on integrated tasks of the speaking section of the TOEFL test with a focus on academic tasks. Well, to begin with, let's click on Academic Tasks tab within the speaking section menu. We're going to focus on task 1 first, and then I'll be providing you with relevant information if necessary. Remember that we're supposed to take notes while we're listening. In integrated tasks of academic type, we're going to have a reading passage. We need to read the reading passage first, and then we'll be taking notes of the main points of the reading passage. Then there will be a listening part, which is kind of related to the reading passage. We'll also have to take notes of the listening part, and then using our notes from the reading and the listening part, we'll be trying to answer the question that follows the listening part. The question often asks for the relationship between the listening passage and the reading passage. And we can use our notes in order to answer the question. Remember that we should only focus on answering the question. The question might want us to refer to parts of the reading or to refer to parts of the listening, or the proportion might be not quite equal. Let's click on task 1 and continue.
Have a piece of paper and pen ready to take notes. In this question, you will read a short passage on an academic subject and take notes. Then, you will listen to a talk on the same topic and take notes. You will answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. Click on Continue to begin.
All right, we'll click on Continue. And as the instruction suggests, we need to be ready to take notes. So I'm going to take notes of the reading passage after reading it. Let me adjust this window so that you'll have a clear view. Okay. Now let's go on with the reading passage.
Now read the passage about new scientific ideas.
Before we actually go through this reading passage, remember that you won't have much time to read this passage. It's a very good idea to practice reading the passages and taking notes very quickly, so you won't face time management problems in the real test. Let's read this piece of text very quickly and then take notes of the main points of that. New scientific ideas. Okay, we'll try to summarize this passage in a few sentences. In the world of science, it can be a difficult proposition to introduce new ideas to the scientific community. After a theory or method has become established, the scientific world tends to view it as the norm. Any attempt to propose a different theory or method is viewed with suspicion. There are many accepted scientists today who in the past were out of the mainstream of science at some point because they held views that did not follow accepted theory or methodology. There are also many scientists today who are out of the mainstream now, but who may become accepted in the future. Well, if we want to summarize this passage, we can focus on a few points. For instance, the difficulty of proposing new ideas, because here we have it. It can be difficult to propose or introduce new ideas to scientific community. Then theories are established and viewed as a norm? Well, the other point is there are many accepted scientists today who were in the past out of the mainstream of science because their views did not follow accepted theory or methodology. So we can say many scientists who are accepted today were out of the mainstream of science in the past. And finally, some scientists today may not be accepted, or at least their ideas are not accepted, but they may be accepted in the future. Okay. So let's go through the notes one more time. The topic is new scientific ideas, and the points that can be used to summarize the text are the difficulty of proposing new ideas when theories are established in science. They are viewed as norms, so it's really very difficult to propose new ideas in this case. Many scientists that are accepted today, and many of those ideas, scientific ideas that are accepted today, were out of the mainstream of science in the past at some point. And it's not surprising that so many of those ideas that are not accepted today from the viewpoint of scientists will be accepted in the future. Now, having read the passage and having taken notes of the main points with regard to the passage, we can move on to the listening part and see what the listening part is like. We'll have to take notes of the listening part as well. But in this program, as you already know, we will have sample notes. So immediately after clicking next here, we're going to have the sample notes provided by the application program. But you know that in the real test, we won't have the sample notes. All you will have is the notes that you take yourself with regard to your understanding of reading this small reading passage. Now, I'll click and continue. We'll see the sample notes. We can have a look at those sample notes and do a comparison of these two types of notes we have, and then we'll go on with the listening part. So let's click on next.
Compare these sample notes to your notes. Click on Next when you are ready to continue.
Okay, now let's have a look at the sample notes. The topic here has been written as difficulty introducing new scientific ideas. What makes introducing new scientific ideas difficult is that theories are accepted as norms and that new theories are viewed with suspect. And what happens to scientists? Many accepted scientists today were not accepted in the past, and that many unaccepted scientists today will become accepted in the future. Well, we have a lot of things in common if you want to compare these two notes, for instance, with these two notes. You'll see that we have the same concept, or the difficulty of proposing new ideas here. We have it in the form of a topic, difficulty introducing new scientific ideas. And that we have talked about norms here, or let's say we've taken notes of theories and ideas viewed as norms, and here we also have the same thing. Now, we can click on next and continue with the listening part. We're going to be ready to take notes of the listening parts as well, so I'll do this. And we'll take notes again. Remember that you need to take notes while you're listening. You really don't have to worry about the spelling of your notes. You really don't have to worry about writing incomplete sentences because you're going to use the notes yourself. And no one is going to get your notes or they won't be scored. So don't worry about misspellings and stuff. Just try to get the main idea and write as many keywords as you can so that later you can refer to them, use them in order to answer the question. در این بخش از سری سوالات اینتگریتد تسک ریدینگ لیسنینگ برای قسمت سپیکینگ یا آزمون توفل بحث اکادمیک تسک رو با هم دیگه بررسی میکنیم. یه تسکش رو به زبان انگلیسی با هم دیگه بررسی کردیم و الان تسک شماره 2 رو یا تمرین شماره 2 رو به زبان فارسی با هم بررسی میکنیم. اگر نیاز باشه من توضیح رو حتما خدمتتون عرض میکنم لابلای اکتیویتی و اینکه نوت تیکینگ حتما مهم هست، یادمون نره. هم بایستی از ریدینگ پسیجی که هست نوت تیکینگ بکنیم و هم از لیسنینگ پسیج. تسک 2 رو با هم دیگه گوش میکنیم. البته اول یک ریدینگ داره، این ریدینگ رو میخونیم، نوت برداری میکنیم، بعد پسیج دوم رو گوش میکنیم، نوت برداری میکنیم و به سوالاتش جواب میدیم. بر همین من روی تسک 2 توی منیوی اصلی Integrated Tasks Reading و Listening Academic Task کلیک میکنم تا با هم دیگه به این تسک 2 بپردازیم.
Have a piece of paper and pen ready to take notes. In this question, you will read a short passage on an academic subject and take notes. Then, you will listen to a talk on the same topic and take notes. You will answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. Click on Continue to begin.
خب اگر دقت کنید در این قسمت میگه You will answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. این به این معنی هستش که بعد از اینکه ریدینگ رو خوندیم حتما بایستی نوت برداری بکنیم از اطلاعات اصلی که داخل نوت ریدینگ هست و همچنین از لیسنینگ پسیجی که پخش میشه باز نکات کلیدی رو استخراج بکنیم و حتما نوت تیکینگ بکنیم تا اینکه بتونیم به سوالی که بعداً قراره ازمون پرسیده بشه جواب بدیم. من کلیک آن کانتینیو رو میزنم و با هم دیگه ریدینگ رو بررسی میکنیم.
Now read the passage about yellow journalism.
خب تاپیک یلو جورنالیسم هست. ممکنه با این کانسپت آشنا باشید یا کانسپت برامون جدید باشه. این نوت رو با هم دیگه بخونیم، این ریدینگ کوتاه رو، و بعد نوت تیکینگش رو بهش بپردازیم ببینیم که به چه شکلی باید ازش نوت تیکینگ بکنیم. Yellow journalism. Yellow journalism is a kind of irresponsible journalism. Irresponsible یعنی هیچ مسئولیت پذیری درش نیست. In which creating a sensation is more important than providing a factual account of a situation. پس نوعی از نگارش جرایت هستش که احساسی نوشتن در اون مهمتر از پرداختن به واقعیات هست. A journalist trying to write a really sensational story may do so by presenting only one side of the story, by emphasizing the lurid details of a story, by exaggerating what actually happened, or by relying on unsubstantiated sources. Newspapers may then add to the sensationalism of the story by putting these stories on the front page and using banner headlines or huge photos that depict the most tantalizing or horrifying aspects of sensationalized stories. خب ریدینگ در مورد یلو جورنالیسم صحبت میکنه و اینکه یلو جورنالیسم چی هست. نوعی از نوشتار در جرایت هستش که سعی میکنن یک داستان رو خیلی احساسی جلوه بدن و به جای اینکه به حقایق بپردازن یا به واقعیت‌های دو جانبه، یعنی هم مسائل احساسیش و هم مسائل حقیقیش بپردازن، سعی میکنن اون حقیقت رو ازش جدا بکنن و احساسی تر بکنن این رو تا اینکه فروششون بالا بره. حالا چطوری این کار رو انجام میدن؟ ممکنه یک روزنامه نگار صرفاً به یک جنبه از داستان بپردازه، به جنبه‌ای که حقایق رو در بر میگیره اصلا نپردازه. و مجلات ممکنه که حین گزارش این خبر خیلی اغراق بکنن و اینکه به مستندات اصلا توجهی نکنن، فقط هدف این هستش که فروش اون روزنامه بره بالا با داستان‌های احساسی. و برای همین ممکنه که عکسایی رو مثلا به شکل خیلی عکسای برجسته در صفحه اول روزنامه‌ها چاپ بکنن و هدلاین ها یا تیترهای خیلی برجسته‌ای رو روی اون عکس‌ها بزنن، صرفا به خاطر اینکه داستان‌هاشون هیجانی تر بشه و فروش بیشتری داشته باشه. حالا با توجه به این متنی که خوندیم سعی می‌کنیم که نوت تیکینگی داشته باشیم، خلاصه بکنیم کل این مطلب رو قبل از اینکه بپردازیم به قسمت لیسنینگ. یادمون باشه توی امتحان اصلی زمان زیادی برای نوت تیکینگ نداریم. وقتی نوت تیکینگ میکنید، قبلا هم خدمتتون عرض کرده بودم، اصلا نگران اسپلینگ و نوشتن جملات کامل و گرامری نباشید. حتی در قالب فریز میتونید اینها رو بنویسید به شکل عبارتی. اون چیزی که مهمه اینه که نوشتهتون بهتون کمک بکنه تا اون چیزی رو که در ریدینگ پسیج و اون چیزی رو که در لیسنینگ پسیج مشاهده کردید، خوندید، به یادتون بیاد. کل این داستان رو سعی می‌کنیم توی چند تا عبارت در چند بخش خلاصه بکنیم. خب پس نوت تیکینگ رو به این شکل میتونیم با هم انجام بدیم. تاپیکمون در مورد یلو جورنالیسم هست. و اون چیزهایی که میتونیم بهشون اشاره بکنیم، اولا تعریفش هست که irresponsible هست. irresponsible journalism, focusing on sensational stories rather than on facts. نکته بعدی اینه که journalists do so by به روش‌های مختلفی از جمله exaggeration یا looking at one side of the story و using unsubstantiated sources. و هدف making stories more sensational هست. خب با این توصیف هایی که اینجا نوشتیم و نوت هایی که نوشتیم میتونیم که به قسمت بعدی بریم. خب البته توی این نرم افزار همونطور که خودتون هم میتونید مشاهده بکنید، بعد از اینکه ما کلیک میکنیم روی نکست سامپل نوتس رو خواهیم داشت. این به خاطر اینه که نرم افزار یک نرم افزار آموزشی هستش، ولی توی محیط واقعی امتحان به محض اینکه روی کلید نکست کلیک میکنید و این متن رو میخونید، بلافاصله لیسنینگ پسیج برای شما پخش میشه و شما بایستی مجددا آماده باشید که نوت تیکینگ انجام بدید از اون قسمت لیسنینگ تا بعدش به دنبال اون سوال رو پاسخ بدید. حالا اگر کلیک بکنیم روی next.
Compare these sample notes to your notes. Click on next when you are ready to continue.
میتونیم سمپل نوت رو با نوتایی که خودمون حداقل اینجا نوشتیم یه مقایسه‌ای بکنیم. اجازه بدید که یه مقایسه سریع داشته باشیم. تاپیکی که خود نرم افزار نوت تیکینگ کرده ازش a type of irresponsible sensational journalism called yellow journalism. ما هم عنوان yellow journalism رو داریم و definition irresponsible journalism رو هم بهش اشاره کردیم. Techniques used to create yellow journalism. ما البته یه توصیف اضافی هم اینجا داریم که focusing on sensational stories rather than on facts. و journalists do so که این قسمت خیلی مشابه این تکنیک هایی هستش که اینجا بهش اشاره شده. Journalists present one side emphasizing lurid facts and exaggerating facts, failing to check facts. ما هم همین ها رو اینجا داریم، منتها به یه عبارت دیگه نوشته شدن اگر دقت بفرمایید. Journalists do so by exaggerating or looking at only one side of the story using unsubstantiated sources که همون fail to check facts هستش و اینکه بالاخره making stories more sensational. حالا کلیک روی next میکنیم و قسمت listeningمون رو خواهیم داشت. باید همزمان سعی بکنیم که note taking بکنیم از قسمت listening. In this part of the program, we're going to focus on the integrated tasks, basically integrated reading, listening tasks of the speaking section of the TOEFL test. Well, the difference between integrated tasks and tasks, in fact, for the speaking part of the TOEFL test is in their being free to answer or in their being bound to a particular subject. I mean, in independent students or the test takers are free to choose what they want to say, especially in the free choice tasks. They're asked similar questions, and then provided may vary from applicant to applicant. In paired choice tasks, well, there is a little less freedom, but again, you can choose as a test taker with an idea or to disagree with an idea, or if you choose choice A or if you choose choice B. But when it comes to integrated tasks, there is a reading passage and there's a listening passage. The reading passage and the listening passage are kind of related. They're referring to the same situation. But each of these, passages, the reading passage and the listening passage, are providing you with part of with regard to the situation. And then there is a question. Well, after having read the reading passage and then having listened to the listening passage, the question is asked and the test taker is the question based on the information that he or she has heard and has read, and also the notes that he or she has taken. Well, in here we have integrated tasks, reading. And then we have campus tasks and academic tasks. The difference between campus tasks and academic tasks is in campus tasks, we will have conversations often outside classroom. Conversation is often between two students or a student and a university professor or student, counselor, a student and maybe a library specialist. Well, anyone who's working at university, or it's maybe a group of students talking to each other. But academic tasks are those tasks in which the teacher in the class thing, and then there may be some sort of interaction between students and the teacher as well. We'll be focusing on the campus tasks for now. So in the speaking skills menu will be integrated tasks, reading and listening section, and in here we'll click on campus tasks. We're going to do task 1 together, and in the meanwhile I'll try to provide you with some as to how to do the task.
Have a piece of paper and pen ready to take notes. In this question, you will read a short passage about a campus situation and take notes. Then, talk on the same topic and take notes. You will answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. Click on Continue to begin.
Well, what's important is that the instruction reads, you will answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. So the question will require you to think of the reading passage as well as the listening passage. They're related. Let's click on continue and see what the question is like.
There is a problem in the campus chemistry lab. Read the notice that is posted on the door of the chemistry lab.
All right. As you can see here, there is a short notice. This is the reading passage we earlier talked about. It's usually this that might have been posted somewhere in the campus. It might be on the door of a laboratory. It might be on the bulletin board in a library or in a classroom. There is a short notice. We need to read this. In the real test, you will have access to it within a few seconds, and after a few seconds, this text will disappear. And then, of listening to a talk, a conversation between two people often, and then you will be asked the question. Based on the information from the reading passage and the talk, you'll be asked the question, and you will try to only focus on the question without having to, summarize the reading passage or summarize the listening passage. So what's important is reading the notice, and then listening to the talk, taking notes, because you won't have access to the notes again. To the listening part again, but you can use your notes. And then you will only focus on the question, answer the question, providing information that you've been asked to provide, nothing other than that. Well, now let's spend some seconds reading this notice on the door of the chemistry lab. Let's read it. The staff of the chemistry lab regrets to inform all students and faculty in the chemistry department that the chemistry lab is now closed due to an unfortunate occurrence there. This unfortunate circumstance that has rendered the chemistry lab unusable. It's been necessary to close the lab until necessary repairs can improve the condition of the point that is once again usable. The staff of the chemistry lab sincerely regrets any inconvenience that this might cause students and faculty who make use of the lab as part of research or studies. Repairs to the lab will commence at the soonest possible moment, and the lab will be repaired as soon as it will be reopened as soon as it is feasible. Though, based on the current condition of the lab, it might take a considerable amount of time. Once again, the staff of the chemistry lab for this inconvenience. Okay, so we know what the situation is. Now we'll click on next, and we will hear a talk between maybe students or a student and someone from the chemistry lab discussing the issue. As soon as we click on next, the talk will begin, so we should be ready to take notes. Two people to talk, or two groups of people to talk. My suggestion is you divide your list into two parts and then take notes of what they say separately. So later, refer to your notes and easily find what each of these participants said. Let's click on next and take notes.
Compare these sample notes to your notes. Click on next when you.
Okay. As you can see over here, we have a sample note of the reading passage. Well, it's also a good idea to take notes when you're reading the passage. That is, try to take notes of probably 4 or 5 phrases only, stating what has happened and what the note is referring to. You can say, for example, chemistry lab is closed. There has been an unfortunate accident. It's not usable now. It's under repairment. Lab staff regret the situation. And as soon as it becomes usable, it will be announced and it will be reopened.
در این قسمت یک تمرین دیگه از سری سوالات Integrated Tasks کمپس تاک برای ریدینگ و لیسنینگ خواهیم داشت. تسک شماره 1 رو از همین منیو به زبان انگلیسی با هم دیگه بررسی کردیم. تسک شماره 2 رو به زبان فارسی با هم بررسی می‌کنیم. اگر نیاز به توضیح باشه لابلای انجام همین اکتیویتی خدمتتون عرض می‌کنم. از منوی Skills Integrated Tasks و کمپس تاسکس تسک شماره 2 تبش رو کلیک می‌کنیم و شروع می‌کنیم.
Have a piece of paper and pen ready to take notes. In this question, you will read a short passage about a campus situation and take notes. Then, you will listen to a talk on the same topic and take notes. You will answer a question using information from both the reading passage and the talk. Click on Continue to begin.
خب باز لازم به توضیح هستش که یک ریدینگی رو خواهیم داشت، یه ریدینگی که در خصوص یک سیچویشنی یه توضیحی به ما میده. این ریدینگ رو میخونیم و سعی میکنیم که توی چند تا فریز، توی چند تا عبارت خلاصه این ریدینگ رو برای خودمون بنویسیم. بعد از اینکه این خلاصه رو نوشتیم یه تاکی هست، یک کانورسیشنی هست بین یه گروهی از افراد یا بین 2 نفر، معمولا 2 نفر دانشجو یا یه دانشجو با یک کسی که توی دانشگاه یک سمتی داره و یک مسئولیتی داره و مرتبط با همون موضوعی که ریدینگش رو خوندیم با همدیگه دارن صحبت میکنن. به این کانورسیشن هم گوش میدیم، به همین منوال نوت تیکینگ میکنیم و به سوالی که بعد از خوندن ریدینگ و گوش کردن به این کانورسیشن قراره از ما پرسیده بشه، با توجه به نوت هایی که برداشتیم از قسمت ریدینگ و از قسمت این کانورسیشنی که بهش گوش کردیم جواب خواهیم داد. مهم دقت بکنید که وقتی دارید نوت تیکینگ میکنید از کانورسیشن تفکیک بکنید نوت هایی که مربوط میشه به هر یک از 2 طرفی که دارن با هم صحبت میکنن. مثلا اگر یک خانم با یه آقا داره صحبت میکنه 2 قسمت بکنید نوت هاتون رو. در یک قسمت چیزهایی رو که اون خانم مطرح میکنه به شکل تیتروار و خلاصه بنویسید، در قسمت بعدی اون چیزهایی که مثلا اون آقا داره مطرح میکنه بنویسید تا اینکه اگر سوال از شما بخواد که هر کدوم از اینها نظرش چی بوده بتونید تفکیک بدید بین اون ایدیاها. ولی برای ریدینگ صرفا میتونید بولت پوینت بذارید و یه چند تا نکته بنویسید که یادتون بیفته ریدینگ در مورد چه چیزی بوده. من روی کانتینیو کلیک میکنم. ریدینگ که میاد رو با هم دیگه خواهیم خوند تا ببینیم که در مورد چیه و نحوه نوت برداریش رو هم باز خدمتتون توضیح میدم.
There is a problem in the university library. Read the memo from the librarian about the problem.
خب همینطور که میبینید باز یک ریدینگ خیلی کوتاه در قالب یک اطلاعیه یا یک نوتیس نوشته شده و این بار مربوط میشه به یک کتابخونه. توی مثال قبلی که داشتیم به زبان انگلیسی با هم بررسی کردیم یه همچین نوتیسی روی کمیستری لب دور بود و این نوتیس این بار توی کتابخونه دانشگاه هستش. این نوت رو با هم دیگه بخونیم. Memo from the librarian. ممو منظور همون یه تذکر هست یا یه نوت کوتاه. Too many students have been failing to return library materials or to pay late fees for materials that returned after the due date. In order to remedy this situation, the decision has been reached that library privileges will be suspended for any students who have failed to return materials or have failed to pay required late fees. This means that students whose library privileges have been suspended will not be able to check out any further library materials until any delinquencies have been cleared. خب نوت به این داره اشاره میکنه که بعضی از دانشجوها کتاب‌ها و منابع آموزشی رو از کتابخونه دریافت می‌کردن و در اون زمان مشخصی که باید متریال‌ها رو، کتاب‌ها رو، مقالات رو، منابع آموزشی رو مجدداً برمیگردوندن به کتابخونه این کارو نمی‌کردن یا اینکه اگر جریمه می‌شدن بابت تأخیر در برگردوندن منابع آموزشی که امانت گرفته بودن از کتابخونه این جریمه ها رو پرداخت نمی‌کردن. در نتیجه کتابخونه تصمیم گرفته که یک سری امتیازها رو بگیره از این دانشجوها، یعنی اینکه تا زمانی که تصمیم درست اتخاذ بشه کتاب‌ها رو برنگردونن و اون جریمه هاشون رو پرداخت نکنن این دانشجوها اجازه امانت گرفتن منابع آموزشی دیگر رو نخواهند داشت. این توضیحیه که توی ریدینگ می‌کنیم. همین رو سعی می‌کنیم که خلاصه بکنیم. پس میتونیم بنویسیم که اولین موردی که میتونیم بهش اشاره بکنیم که خیلی از دانش آموزان many students don't return borrowed materials on time or they don't pay late fees. یعنی جریمه هاشون رو هم پرداخت نمی کنن. خب چه تصمیمی اتخاذ شده؟ In order to remedy this situation, the decision has been reached. پس یک راه حلی هست. سولوشنی که دانشگاه در نظر گرفته یا کتابخونه دانشگاه در نظر گرفته اینه که students library privileges will be suspended. یعنی به حالت تعلیق در خواهد اومد و بولت پوینت 4 این که they can't check out any other materials. Until their delinquency is cleared. یعنی تا رفع مشکل نشه این دانشجوها اجازه دریافت کتاب و منابع آموزشی دیگه ای رو از کتابخونه نخواهند داشت. خب کل این ریدینگ رو سعی می‌کنیم در 4 تا بولت پوینت برای خودمون بنویسیم. پس میدونیم داستان از چه قرار هست. اینکه خیلی از دانش آموزا کتاب تحویل میگیرن، امانت میگیرن از کتابخونه ولی به موقع بر نمیگردونن. اگر جریمه‌ای بابت تأخیر بهشون تعلق میگیره پرداخت نمیکنن. راه حلی که دانشگاه به نظرش رسیده برای حل این مشکل این هستش که به حالت تعلیق در بیاره اجازه استفاده از منابع آموزشی کتابخانه رو برای این دانشجوها تا اینکه این مشکل در واقع حل بشه و اونا بیان جبران بکنن ضرری رو که به کتابخونه زدن. خب اگر روی next من کلیک بکنم یک نمونه ای از سامپل نوتسی رو که خود نرم افزار به همون میده هم اینجا خواهیم داشت. ولی خب توی آزمون اصلی میدونیم که سامپل نوتسی در کار نیست. من روی next کلیک میکنم.
Compare these sample notes to your notes. Click on next when you are ready to continue.
خب اگر دقت بکنید topic memo from head librarian on what to do about students not returning materials and paying late fees. در مورد many students not paying late fees و not returning materials on time اینجا ما نوت برداری کردیم. librarians policy رو ما اینجا در قالب solution بهش اشاره کردیم. اینکه students library privileges will be stopped که ما در مورد suspense اونها در اینجا صحبت کردیم و اینکه students will not be able to check library materials out دقیقاً همینجا بهش اشاره کردیم. علاوه بر اون حتی نوشتیم که تا زمانی که این مشکل حل نشه یا دانشجوها این مشکل رو حل نکنن اجازه استفاده از کتابخونه و به امانت گرفتن منابع آموزشی بیشتری رو نخواهند داشت. تقریبا مشابه هستن نوتایی که ما از همین ممو با هم دیگه استخراج کردیم. الان اگر کلیک بکنیم روی next یک کانورسیشنی خواهد بود بین دو نفر. حالا میتونه 2 تا دانشجو باشه یا میتونه یه دانشجو باشه با یک مثلا لایبرریان که در مورد همین موضوع دارن صحبت میکنن. فقط باید دقت داشته باشیم که وقتی نوت تیکینگ میکنیم در خصوص این 2 قسمت بکنیم در واقع صفحمون رو و هر کدوم از افراد هرچی میگن رو در بخش مربوط به خودشون بنویسیم. یعنی فرد اول چیزایی که میگه در اینجا، فرد دوم در اینجا، تا اینکه بتونیم تفکیک بدیم نوت‌ها رو از هم دیگه. من کلیک میکنم روی next تا با هم دیگه گوش کنیم این قسمت رو.
Let's click on next and take notes.
Listen to the passage. On a piece of paper, take notes on the main points of the listening passage. Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a science class.
Let's talk about 2 scientists whose work is very well known today. One is Darwin, who introduced the idea of natural selection, and the other is Einstein, who introduced the idea of relativity. When Darwin introduced the idea of natural selection, or when Einstein introduced the idea of relativity, these ideas represented radical changes from the accepted ideas of the era in which they were presented. Although the ideas of both Darwin and Einstein were eventually accepted, and not just accepted but viewed with awe and admiration, these ideas were initially viewed with skepticism or contempt because they were so radically different from generally accepted ideas.
All right, our notes are ready. If you have a look at our notes, well, you'll see that we've taken notes of 2 scientists, Darwin and Einstein. Darwin is famous for his theory of natural selection, and Einstein is famous for his famous theory of relativity. Both of these two scientists nowadays are viewed with admiration, and that their ideas are respected very much, but not in the past. In the past, their ideas were viewed with skepticism. The reason they were not initially viewed with admiration was because both these ideas, natural selection and relativity, represented radical changes from the established norms. Okay, with the notes we have in the listening part and with the notes that we have from the reading passage, we can move on to the question, hear the question, and then use our notes from the reading passage and from the listening passage to answer the questions. But in this program, as you already know, if I click on next, we're going to have the sample notes. So we'll compare the sample notes first to our notes, and then we'll move on to the question. Let's see how similar our notes are to the sample notes of the application program. Let's click on next.
Compare these sample notes to your notes. Click on Next when you are ready to continue.
Okay. Two examples of scientists whose new ideas were viewed skeptically and were later admired. We also have taken notes of two scientists. Here we have two examples of scientists, Darwin and Einstein. Here we have Darwin and Einstein, natural selection and relativity, natural selection and relativity. We have them here. And here we have their ideas were skeptically viewed initially, and they were later admired. And here we have the admiration nowadays and the skeptical view in the past. So more or less our ideas are also the same. We can click on next and see what the question is. Then we're going to use the notes from the listening passage and the notes from the reading passage in order to answer the questions. Now let's proceed to the question.
Use your notes and the study tools to prepare your response. Click on Next when you are ready to answer this question. The professor describes some accomplishments of Darwin and Einstein. Explain how this information about Darwin and Einstein is related to the information about establishing new ideas.
All right, as soon as we click on Next, we'll be ready to record our note. We'll be ready to record our voice. However, I want you to focus on the question here. The professor described some accomplishments of Darwin and Einstein. Well, the accomplishments of Darwin and Einstein are the ones actually referred to in the listening passage. And then the question asks you to relate what the professor says to the information in establishing new ideas. Establishing new ideas is, in fact, the reading passage of which we took some notes. Well, so we're going to focus on the content of the reading passage and then the content of the listening passage, and then relate the information here to information in the reading passage. Let's click on Next, and then we'll have some time to record our voice. Okay, we'll start with the reading passage, because the question actually asks us to relate the information from the listening passage to the information in the reading passage. That's why we're going to focus on the content of both.
Click on Record to record your response to the question. Click on Play to hear your response. You may record your response again.
Well, remember that as soon as you click on Record button, you're going to have 60 seconds only to record your voice. So be careful about your time management and do not spend more than 60 seconds answering the question. Well, I'm going to click on Record, and then within 60 seconds, I need to relate the information from the reading passage to the information in the listening passage. All right, I'll be looking at my notes, and you're also required to have a look at your notes when you're responding. So I'm taking my notes with me. and then I'm going to read the notes, look at my notes, and speak. Let's click on record. But have a look at the question for a second time. The professor describes some accomplishments of Darwin and Einstein. Explain how this information about Darwin and Einstein is related to the information about establishing new ideas. 3, 2, 1. It's actually a very difficult concept to propose new ideas in the world of science once theories and ideas have been established already in science as norm. I mean, introducing any new scientific ideas might be viewed with a skepticism, and that's the reason many of the scientists who were not quite acceptable in the past nowadays are accepted, and there are so many scientists today whose ideas are not actually accepted, but they might become accepted in the future. Two examples of such scientists are Darwin and Einstein. Darwin with his idea of natural selection, and Einstein with his idea of relativity. Both of these represented radical changes in the past, but nowadays they're admired and they're completely accepted. Well, within 60 seconds, we try to relate the information from the reading passage to the information in the listening passage. Remember, if you make a slight mistake, like a pronunciation mistake or something, you can correct yourself on the spot. But if you really fail to answer the question in a way that you can't actually repeat yourself within a few seconds and correct the mistake, you're advised to record your voice again because it's possible to record your answer for a second time. But remember that you shouldn't be doing it so many times, otherwise you'll have problem with time management. Now, let's click on next. Of course, in the real test, as soon as you click on next, you'll move to the other question. But here, we will have a self-assessment section that you won't have in the real test.
Read each statement and click in the yes or no column. Click on play to hear your response.
Okay. I'll click on next, and that will be the end of this section. من سعی میکنم که وقتی داریم نوت تیکینگ میکنیم شما همزمان ببینید که چجوری من دارم نوت تیکینگ میکنم. فقط دقت بکنید که نگران اسپلینگ و اینها نباشید. سعی بکنید که از لیسنینگ عقب نمونید. میتونید یه چیزایی رو بنویسید که یادتون نره کانسپت چی بود، بعد نوتاتون رو حتی تکمیل بکنید. من کلیک میکنم روی next و بلافاصله شروع میکنم به نوت برداری کردن.
Listen to the passage. On a piece of paper, take notes on the main points of the listening passage. Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a journalism class.
Let me tell you how this type of journalism came to be called yellow journalism. Well, it came about as a result of a battle for circulation between two rival newspapers in New York in the 1890s. One of the newspapers was the New York World, which was owned by Joseph Pulitzer, and the other was the New York Journal, which was owned by William Randolph Hearst. Each of these newspapers tried to outdo the other by creating stories that were more and more sensational and less factual. During this period, Pulitzer introduced a cartoon named The Yellow Kid, and this cartoon in Pulitzer's New York World became very popular. Drawing on the name of this popular cartoon character, the type of sensational stories that appeared in the two rival papers became known as yellow journalism.
اوکی. با توجه به قسمت لیسنینگ که داشتیم، نوتایی که من تونستم حین گوش کردم بردارم اینها بودن. How it was named، یعنی این که اصلا اسم این yellow journalism و چرا بهش میگیم yellow journalism، این اسم از کجا اومده و ریشه این کجا هستش. خب توی قسمت لیسنینگ شنیدیم که این استادی که در مورد این یلو جورنالیسم تاپیک داشت صحبت میکرد در مورد یک رقابت یا یک بتل، نبردی بین دو تا روزنامه معروف در نیویورک به اسمهای نیویورک ورلد که صاحبش فردی به نام پولیتزر بوده و نیویورک جورنال که صاحبش فردی به نام رندالف بوده صحبت کرد که این دوتا روزنامه خیلی داشتن رقابت سنگینی میکردن برای اینکه تیراژشون بره بالاتر و سعی میکردن داستانهایی رو بنویسن که more and more sensational باشه، یعنی که خیلی داستانهاشون احساسی باشه و less and less factual. و پولیتزر یعنی در واقع صاحب امتیاز روزنامه نیویورک ورلد یک شخصیت کارتونی رو در واقع معرفی کرد توی روزنامهش که اسم اون شخصیت کارتونی یلو کید بود و به خاطر معروف شدن و محبوبیت این شخصیت کارتونی یلو کیده که این نوع روزنامه نگاری که به مسائل سنسیشنال یا احساسی میپردازه بهش میگن یلو جورنالیسم. این نوتایی که میتونیم بهش ریفر بکنیم برای اینکه حالا سوالی رو که قراره گوش بکنیم و ببینیم که در چه خصوص هست جواب بدیم. خب میدونیم که فرصت گوش کردن مجدد رو در آزمون اصلی تافل نخواهیم داشت. یعنی اینکه شما به محض اینکه یک بار ریدینگ رو خوندید و بعدش یک بار لیسنینگ رو گوش کردید بایستی آماده پاسخ گفتن به اون سوال باشید. ولی خب اینجا توی این نرم افزار خالی از لطف نیست بهتون بگم که این کلید لیسن رو اگر بزنید میتونید مجدداً، حالا اون چون به خاطر تمرینه، میتونید اون قسمت لیسنینگ رو مجدداً گوش بکنید و حتی میتونید کلیک آن ویو اسکریپت بکنید و متن لیسنینگ رو هم داشته باشید. ولی خب توی آزمون اصلی این دوتا باتن یا این دوتا کلید رو ما نخواهیم داشت. من اگر روی نکست کلیک بکنم الان سامپل نوتایی رو خواهیم داشت که خود نرم افزار بهمون پیشنهاد میکنه برای اینکه ببینیم چه چیزی در خصوص این لیسنینگ میتونستیم که نوت برداری بکنیم. البته نوت ما اینجا آماده است ولی خب میتونیم نوتایی که خودمون برداشتیم رو مقایسه بکنیم با نوتای نرم افزار. من همین کار رو انجام میدم تا با هم ببینیم که به چه شکل است.
Compare these sample notes to your notes. Click on Next when you are ready to continue.
خب اگر دقت بفرمایید در این قسمت گفته که How Yellow Journalism Came About. ما هم توی نوتامون داریم How It Was Named که اسمش کلن از کجا اومده. به این دوتا هر دو اشاره کردیم. History of Journalism که زیرش نوشته Battle for Circulation between Pulitzer's New York World و William Randolph's New York Journal in 1890s using sensational stories. خب ما هم اشاره کردیم که Battle for Circulation بین دو تا ژورنال به اسمهای نیویورک ورلد و نیویورک جورنال وجود داشته که نیویورک ورلد متعلق به پولیتزر بوده همونطوری که اینجا نوشته شده و نیویورک جورنال متعلق به رندالف بوده که اینجا ذکر کردیم. بعد popular yellow kid cartoon in Pulitzer's New York World. اینجا ما همین نوت برداری رو انجام دادیم. پولیتزر یک شخصیت کارتونی رو به اسم یلو کید معرفی کرد در ژورنال خودش، در روزنامه خودش که خیلی محبوبیت پیدا کرد و به خاطر همین اسم هست که این نوع روزنامه نگاری رو بهش میگن یلو جورنالیسم. حالا کلیک میکنیم روی نکست. با توجه به سوالی که قرار از همون پرسیده بشه بایستی استفاده بکنیم از نوت هایی که از قسمت ریدینگ نوشتیم و نوت هایی که برای قسمت لیسنینگ برداشتیم تا اینکه این سوال رو بتونیم جواب بدیم. من کلیک میکنم روی نکست تا به سوال دقت کنیم.
Use your notes and the study tools to prepare your response. Click on Next when you are ready to answer this question. The professor describes how yellow journalism came to be. Explain how this information about yellow journalism is related to the information in the reading passage.
خب اگر دقت کنید به سوال از همون خواسته که هم به نوت‌هایی که از ریدینگ پسیجمون گرفتیم مراجعه بکنیم و هم نوت هایی که از لیسنینگ پسیج یادداشت کردیم و اینها رو تلفیق بکنیم و ارتباط بین اون ریدینگ پسیج کوتاه و اون لیسنینگ پسیج کوتاه رو بیان بکنیم در قالب اسپیکینگ. The professor describes how yellow journalism came to be. Explain how this information about yellow journalism is related to information in the reading passage. خب پس ما بایستی این رابطه رو کاملا شفاف بیان بکنیم. اگر کلیک بکنیم روی next 60 ثانیه فرصت خواهیم داشت تا صدامون رو ریکورد بکنیم و به این سوال بپردازیم. پس بهتره که شروع بکنیم با توصیف کردن یلو جورنالیسم و اینکه تو یلو جورنالیسم چه اتفاقی میفته، بعد به دنبالش با توجه به نوتی که نوشتیم بگیم که دلیل این که چرا اصلا یلو جورنالیسم گفته میشه به این چی بوده و منشأش چی هستش. خب 30 ثانیه بیشتر برای ریفر کردن به نوت‌های مربوط به ریدینگ نداریم. 30 ثانیه بیشتر هم فرصت نداریم در مجموع برای اینکه قسمت لیسنینگ رو بتونیم پوشش بدیم. روی هم رفته 60 ثانیه. پس سعی می‌کنیم که خیلی تو the point صحبت بکنیم. من کلیک می‌کنم روی next.
Click on record to record your response to the question. Click on play to hear your response. You may record your response again.
به محض اینکه کلیک بکنیم روی ریکورد 60 ثانیه فرصت داریم تا جوابمون رو بخونیم. من میخوام که از نوتام استفاده بکنم برای اینکه 60 ثانیه صدام رو ریکورد بکنم و برای همین سعی خواهم کرد که چیزی به غیر از اون چیزی که در نوتام وجود داره بیان نکنم. همیشه دقتتون به تایمری که روی صفحه هست باشه. این تایمر به محض اینکه شما کلیک بکنید روی ریکورد این تایمر شروع میکنه به کار کردن و اگر دیدید که دارید نزدیک میشید به اون 60 ثانیه سعی بکنید که هرچه سریعتر جوابتون رو بدید، چون بعد از 60 ثانیه دیگه صدای شما ریکورد نخواهد شد. یه بار دیگه من سوال رو میخونم برای اینکه آماده تر بشیم برای پاسخگویی و بعد من با توجه به اون نوتایی که یادداشت کرده بودم و شما دیده بودید سعی میکنم که توی 60 ثانیه به این سوال جواب بدم. The professor describes how yellow journalism came to be. Explain how this information about yellow journalism is related to the information in the reading passage. کلیک میکنم. Yellow journalism is in fact a type of irresponsible journalism in which the journal focuses on sensations of the story and less on the facts. Well, journalists may do so by exaggerating the stories or by looking only at one side of the story, which is the sensational part, without paying attention to the facts, or using unsubstantiated sources for their news reports. The reason for which is making stories more and more sensational. The name yellow journalism came to be as a result of a battle between two newspapers back in 1896 named New York World by Pulitzer and New York Journal by Randolph, in which Pulitzer created a cartoon character called Yellow Kid, which became very popular, and the name was given after that. خب 60 ثانیه ما تموم شد و وایسی که ریکورد کردیم دیگه بعد از این چیزی نمیشه بهش اضافه کرد و اون صدای بیپی که میشنویم، سیگنالی که میشنویم نشون دهنده اینه که حتی اگر بعد از این بخواید صحبت بکنید صدای شما ریکورد نخواهد شد. اگر الان کلیک بکنم روی next، توی این نرم افزار یه قسمتی داریم که توی آزمون اصلی وجود نداره، سلف اسسمنت، ولی توی آزمون اصلی به محض اینکه روی next کلیک میکنید سوال بعدی برای شما پخش خواهد شد. من next رو میزنم و بعد به قسمت بعدی در واقع خواهیم رفت.
Okay. Now let's get ready to take notes with regard to the talk.
Listen to the passage. On a piece of paper, take notes on the main points of the listening passage. Now listen as two students discuss the notice.
Did you hear about the chemistry lab?
I certainly did. What are we going to do?
What do you mean?
Well, we have lab assignments to complete in the lab each week for our chemistry class, and we won't be able to get into the lab to do them.
Oh, the professor's going to have to do something about that. She can't assign us to work in the lab if there's no lab to work in.
So you think it's her problem and not ours?
I do. By the way, did you hear what happened to the lab? I mean, why it's unusable now?
No, I didn't. I heard that it's closed, but I didn't hear why. Do you know what happened?
Well, I don't know for sure, but I did hear a story from some of my friends.
What did you hear?
I heard that someone was in the lab working on an experiment, and this person had some sort of accident that caused a big explosion.
I think it's pretty obvious that something like that happened.
But here's the good part.
There's a good part in all of this?
Yes, there is. Guess who I heard blew up the lab?
Who?
Our chemistry professor.
No!
That's what I heard.
It would be really funny if that's really what happened.
It certainly would.
All right, now we have our notes. Well, before actually proceeding to the recording part, we heard that two classmates, a girl and a boy, were discussing the situation in the chemistry lab. The boy asked the question, like, have you heard what's happened? And the girl said, of course she had. Well, but the girl was worried about what they were going to do with regard to their chemistry assignments that they had to do each week, because in order to do their assignments, they're required to use the chemistry lab. And the boy thought like it's the professor's problem, and that the professor should do something about that, because the professor knows the chemistry lab is not usable. Well, then the boy also suggested that he had heard a story, but he wasn't quite sure about it. He'd heard that somebody was doing an experiment in the laboratory, and it had led to an explosion, and that was the reason the chemistry lab was not usable. The girl, well, knew that it was something like that, but she actually had no idea who'd done it. Then the boy said it was the professor, their chemistry professor, who actually caused the explosion in the lab, and she felt like that would be very funny. This was the whole story. Now, based on the notes that we've had from the reading passage, and based on the notes that we've taken from the talk following the reading passage, we're going to see what the question is, and then we're going to focus on the question and answer it. Let's click on next.
Compare these sample notes to your notes.
Okay, of course.
Click on Next when you are ready to continue.
Okay. In the real test, we won't have the sample notes of the reading part or the sample notes of the listening part, of course. But let's have a quick look at what the software suggests. It says the topic is student discussion of the situation in the chemistry lab. The main points of the discussion were students both were unable to complete their lab work assigned for the class. The lady seems worried, but the man doesn't, and that the rumors have it that student's chemistry professor caused the explosion. Let's click on Next and go on.
Use your notes and the study tools to prepare your response. Click on Next when you are ready to answer this question. The students express their opinions about the notice posted on the door of the chemistry lab. State how they feel about it and what they think happened.
Okay, before we actually record our voice and answer this question, we need to analyze the question. If you have a second look at the question, you'll see that the question is only focusing on one part of the story. The students express their opinions about the notice posted on the door of the chemistry lab. This means we really don't have to talk about the whole story. Like there was this notice on the chemistry lab reading this, and
the notes that we had actually taken earlier here, like the chemistry lab had been closed, there had been an unfortunate accident, and that it was not usable. It was under repair, and that, well, the laboratory staff regretted the situation, and as soon as they could do their repairs, they would reopen the chemistry lab. Because the question suggests that we already know these things. The question is mainly focusing on the talk, actually. State how they feel, the boy and the girl feel about the situation and what they think happened. So we're going to use most of the notes that we have written from the talk, actually, here in order to answer this question, rather than the notes that we took after reading the passage. So let's click on next and focus on how they feel and what they think happened. So there are two parts of it. Their feelings and what happened. These are the two questions that we need to answer.
Click on Record to record your response to the question. Click on Play to hear your response. You may record your response again.
Okay. We will have 60 seconds to answer this question. And we're going to focus on the feelings of the learners and what they think had happened. Let's click on next and start recording. Actually, we're going to click on record and start recording. The feelings of the girl and the feelings of the boy should both be expressed. Well, we know that the girl is worried, but the boy is not worried because he believes it's the professor's problem. And the story, like what happened, is something that the boy actually referred to. So I'm going to click on record and start speaking. Only focus on the feelings and what happened. Well, the girl and the boy, two classmates, were discussing the situation. While the girl seems really worried about not being able to do the chemistry lab assignment each week, the boy doesn't feel like it's their problem. He believes that it's a problem that their chemistry professor needs to think of and, offer a solution to that, because he obviously knows without the chemistry lab, they won't be able to do their assignments. And the rumors have it that somebody was doing a chemistry experiment in the laboratory, and suddenly the accident resulted in an explosion. And the girl had heard something about this, but the funny thing is the boy said, according to the rumors, it was the professor who blew the chemistry lab up. Okay, that brings us to the end of 60 seconds. And this means after 60 seconds, whatever we say won't be recorded.
Listen to the passage. On a piece of paper, take notes on the main points of the listening passage. Now listen to two students as they discuss the memo.
Did you see the notice in the library?
It was hard to miss it. It was posted all over the library, after all.
Are you as angry about it as I am?
You're angry about it?
Yes, I am. Very angry. It just doesn't seem fair.
You don't think it's fair?
Not at all. Students need to use the library, and they shouldn't be prevented from using it.
That's true, but too many students seem to be abusing their library privileges, and something has to be done about that.
You don't think that what the librarian's done is too much?
Not at all. It actually sounds fine to me.
خب نوت تیکینگی که کردیم بین دو تا دانشجو بود، یه خانم و یه آقا.
آقای سوال کرد که در واقع خبر دارید از این اطلاعیه‌ای که کتابخونه دانشگاه در واقع اعلام کرده و دوستش گفت که بله، خیلی واضح بود چون همه جا این اطلاعیه رو زدن و پسر پرسید که Are you as angry about it as I am؟ خب این نشون میده که پسر عصبانی بود و دختر پرسید که تو عصبانی هستی به خاطر این داستان و پسر ادامه داد که I think it's not fair، به نظرم عادلانه نیست به خاطر اینکه دانشجوها حق دارن که از کتابخونه و منابع آموزشی استفاده بکنن. در ادامه دوستش اون خانم ادامه داد که خیلی از دانشجوها به نظر میرسه که دارن سوء استفاده میکنن از این در واقع امکانات آموزشی که کتابخونه داره در اختیارشون قرار میده و کتابها رو به موقع بر نمیگردونن و به نظر این خانم تصمیمی که کتابخونه گرفته بود در قبال این دانشجوها خیلی تصمیم خوبیه و این خانم موافق است با نظر در واقع کتابخونه، در حالی که این آقا زیاد خوشش نیومده از این تصمیمی که اتخاذ شده. خب حالا ما نوت‌های ریدینگمون رو داریم و اینجا نوت‌های مربوط به لیسنینگمون رو داریم به تفکیک برای هر کدوم. حالا با توجه به سوالی که قراره از ما پرسیده بشه، ممکنه این سوال بیشتر لودش روی قسمت ریدینگ باشه، بیشتر لودش روی قسمت سپیکینگ باشه، یا نه ترکیبی از ریدینگ و لیسنینگ باشه. بعد از اینکه سوال رو گوش کردیم، با توجه به تمام قسمت‌های سوال، ممکنه یه بخش داشته باشه، ممکنه 2 بخش داشته باشه، و با توجه به دقیقاً همون چیزی که از ما پرسیده میشه از نوت‌هامون استفاده میکنیم تا اینکه جواب بدیم در 60 ثانیه. من روی next کلیک میکنم تا سوال رو با هم دیگه بررسی کنیم.
Compare these sample notes to your notes.
خب البته
Click on next when you are ready to continue.
توی آزمون اصلی که سامپل نوت رو نخواهیم داشت. این سامپل نوت باز تقریبا شبیه همون چیزی هستش که ما اینجا نوت تیکینگ کردیم ولی با یه شکل دیگه ای. به نظر من اگر اینجوری نوت تیکینگ بکنید فالو کردنش برای خودتون راحت تر هست تا به این شکلی که نرم افزار در واقع یک جا نوشته. اینجا هم نرم افزار گفته که the topic of the conversation is a student's discussion of memo by librarian. The main points of the discussion: the man or the boy thinks the new policy is wrong. Students need to use the library. خب این که not fair هست و students need to use the library رو ما هم توی نوتامون داریم. The woman seems worried. The man doesn't. این که این خانم نگران هست در مورد اینکه بعضی از دانشجوها این کار رو انجام میدن کاملا واضحه و ما هم بهش اشاره کردیم. و اینکه the woman thinks the policy is okay. روی next کلیک میکنیم تا سوال رو بررسی کنیم.
Use your notes and the study tools to prepare your response. Click on next when you are ready to answer this question.
سوال.
The students express their opinions of the announcement made by the head librarian. State their opinions and explain the reasons they give for holding these opinions.
خب قبل از اینکه ما روی next کلیک بکنیم و جوابمون رو ریکورد بکنیم، خیلی مهمه که به سوال و قسمت‌هایی که از ما پرسیده شده دقت بکنیم. خود روی سوال میگه که the students express their opinions of the announcements made by the head librarian. یعنی این که سوال assumptionش این هست، پیش‌فرضش این هست که هم ما میدونیم این نوتیس در مورد چیه و همین که از ما نمیخواد گزارشی بدیم مبنی بر اینکه چه چیزی روی اون نوتیس در کتابخونه نوشته شده بود. پس اون چیزی که اینجا نوشتیم زیاد شاید به کارمون نیاد، صرفا به خاطر نوع سوالی که از ما پرسیده شده. ولی اگر دقت بفرمایید گفته که state their opinions، یعنی اون خانم نظرش چی بود، اون آقا نظرش چی بود، اولا نظراتشون رو بگید. پس به opinions به تفکیک باید اشاره بکنیم که نظر خانم چی بود، نظر آقا چی بود و اینکه explain their reasons، چه نظراتی این آقا داشت به خاطر این اپینینی که داره و چه نظراتی، چه دلایلی این خانم داشت برای نظری که داره. صرفا به این قسمت اشاره خواهیم کرد. پس از نوتایی که در بخش لیسنینگ گرفتیم قراره که بیشتر استفاده بکنیم برای اینکه این 2 تا سوال رو جواب بدیم یا 2 بخش یک سوال رو مورد توجه قرار بدیم. روی next کلیک میکنم.
Click on Record to record your response to the question. Click on Play to hear your response. You may record your response again.
خب به محض اینکه روی ریکورد کلیک بکنیم شروع خواهیم کرد به صحبت کردن و پاسخ دادن به این جواب، پاسخ دادن به این سوال. خب جوابمون رو میتونیم که در صورتی که اوکی هست و فقط یه چند تا اشکال جزئی داره با تکرار کردن به شکل درست اون مشکلات جزئی رو رفع بکنیم. مثلا تلفظ یک کلمه همون لحظه که تلفظ کردیم و متوجه شدیم که تلفظمون شاید زیاد صحیح نبوده بلافاصله تصحیح بکنیم، مشکلی ایجاد نمیشه. ولی اگر حس کردیم که خب یه جمله‌ای رو کلاً اشتباه گفتیم و نباید به اون شکل مطرح می‌کردیم، این شانس رو داریم که دوباره وایسمون رو ریکورد بکنیم. پس نگران این قضیه هم نباید باشیم. فقط باید از نظر زمانی حواسمون باشه که زیاد نمیشه این ریکوردینگ رو به شکل مجدد انجام داد، چون از نظر زمانی وقت کم میاریم در کل بخش اسپیکینگ. حالا با توجه به سوال یه بار دیگه سوال رو بخونیم. The students expressed their opinions of the announcement made by the head librarian. State their opinions and explain the reasons they give. Explain the reasons they give for holding these opinions. ریکورد رو که زدیم 60 ثانیه فرصت داریم تا در این مورد صحبت بکنیم. The two students seem to have opposite ideas with regard to the decision made by the head librarian. While the girl thinks it's a very good idea and that she's okay with the decision the head librarian has made to suspend the students' privileges who fail to return the books on time or pay their late fees. Because she believes students should be responsible for what they're doing. The boy seems to be very angry about the decision, and he believes that it's not fair to do so. He believes students need to be free to use their library, and that the head librarian should not suspend their privileges. The boy is angry, but the girl is okay with the idea. The boy thinks it's not fair, but the girl thinks it's okay. خب این بیپ یا سیگنالی که شنیدیم نشون دهنده این هستش که دیگه جواب ما ریکورد نخواهد شد. پس بعد از این دیگه جوابمون رو ادامه نمیدیم. سعی میکنیم تو همون 60 ثانیه به اون قسمت‌های اصلی سوال صرفاً توجه بکنیم. این که همونطوری هم که توی ریکوردینگ شنیدید عرض کردم. The girl is okay with the idea. She feels worried. And she thinks the head librarian's decision is fair, while the boy thinks it's not fair and therefore he's very angry. و اینکه the girl doesn't have any problem with the decision the head librarian has made, but the boy thinks that students need to have their privilege and use the materials. خب next رو میزنیم.
Read each statement and click in the yes or no column. Click on play to hear your response.
در آزمون اصلی این ویندو رو نخواهیم داشت ما، یعنی صرفاً بعد از اینکه صداتون رو ضبط کردید و نکست رو زدید به سوال بعدی یا بخش بعدی خواهید رفت. ولی خب در این نرم افزار آموزشی این ویندو رو داریم به خاطر خود ارزیابیمون، ولی خب توی آزمون اصلی بلافاصله سوال بعدی خواهد بود بعد از اینکه روی نکست کلیک میکنید. نکست رو میزنیم و میریم بخش بعدی.